Since the very dawn of our era, these waters of the Indian Ocean have been familiar to seafaring men of far-off lands. Ships came from the Far East, China, and from the West to these shores, and returned westward laden with pepper, precious stones, coral, pearl, silk, and thread, very coast that is the fairest of southern sea capitals. Its splendor lives only in the pages of Tamil literature that has come down to us across 20 centuries. A city lost forever, for the ocean is thus the site upon which the city stood. Today, the pier runs into the sea, and by the long shore rises a lighthouse that overlooks the blue waves of the Bay of Bengal that end in white foam as they wash the sands of the Coromandel coast. Fishermen who live on this coast are perhaps the only descendants of the earliest inhabitants of these shores. To this day, they bear the deep-sea country craft or raft to bring back sea fish. Sometimes they fly passengers from shore to ship in streams. Far different to sail-driven ships of old are these modern liners that regularly call at this 300-year-old harbor, which fringes Indian soil, but is politically a part of the French territory, an arm of France overseas, capital of French settlements in India. It was in the days when East India men vied for trade supremacy and territory. In those days, when Clive, Dupleix, Delali, Albuquerque, and Vasco da Gama were names to be reckoned synonymous with growing empires for European maritime powers, that Francois Martin, a French governor, caused the erection of this port town. The then inhabitants called the new township Puducherry, or new habitation, which has taken the corrupted form today of Pondicherry. What Robert Clive is to the history of the British Empire, Dupleix means to the story of French colonial expansion. He gained territory for France in India, and to commemorate this, a bronze statue of Dupleix stands at the entrance to the town from the pier. Around this bronze effigy of Dupleix are carved pillars of older origin, brought from Gingy during one of his campaigns. It is strange that a people whose national capital is the beautiful city of Paris should have such a simple port capital for its settlement in India. But for administrative offices with their names engraved in French and an annual fair and parade, the Fête Nationale, on the 14th of July, one might wonder what is French about Pondicherry. But the salute to the governor and his men by the forces and the officers makes a colorful show. A show that this unknown soldier seems silently to watch until the people disperse and move away towards more joyous functions. For a small port town, Pondicherry can pride itself over having two national festivals. Close on the heels of the Fête Nationale, which the French celebrate, the Indian Embassy arranges rejoicing for the Indian Independence Day, in which even the French officials and authorities and the elite of the town take part. This celebration of August 15th is, of course, of recent origin, since the attainment of India's freedom. But the 15th of August has an added significance to our story and Pondicherry. It was on the 15th of August in 1872 that India was born, predestined to fame in many spheres. As a stalwart politician and patriot, a soldier in the struggle for Indian freedom, an administrator, author of philosophical transactions and works, eminent writer and mystic, a seer, a poet, and seeker after the truth, the master and exponent of a philosophy leading to the life divine. He came to Pondicherry in the first decade of this century. At the dawn of the half century, this great yogi entered into the state of Maha Samadhi. The Samadhi that is the heart of a small world today, a world that has grown in the last 4 decades, the ashram of Sri Aurobindo. The many buildings of the ashram rise among the houses of a significant area of the township and are the homes of a people or fraternity who live this life in the conviction that it is a prelude to the life divine, the philosophy that the Master preached. At the head of the ashram today is a mother, the living complement of the sage, philosophically speaking, the other aspect of the Master. It is to her that the Master gave all the power to govern, guide, and to steer the community of his creation. About 800 people make this ashram fold, not to speak of 900 wage-earning workers at the ashram, all living their own lives, working in the fields of their own liking and choice, conforming to a few social laws, neither orthodox nor ritual, devoted to their ideology and to the Mother. It is in spectacles like these that the profundity of their devotion is evident. And here at the Samadhi is reflected the reverence with which the ashramites and pilgrims from far and near pay homage to the Master's shrine. The Samadhi, apart from being a shrine, is a delight and wonder. The massive impact of masonry, its low simple lines and contours create the impression of an altar set for all eternity. Flower offerings in beautiful arrangement and almost unbelievable profusion of shape, color, and scent are never absent. And decorative incense burners are kept in order. There is constant movement around the shrine. The pilgrims move about or meditate, silent. The dappled shadows on the rough, slabbed pavement the heaps and profusion of flowers, the many types of calm faces and dire deportments and nationality, some, above all such differences, all make a tableau vivant unique. Parallel to the homage at the shrine is the homage paid by the whole community to the mother. And here is a community that is a small pulsating world of all age groups that are eager to get the mother's blessing or her advice, or the flowers she can often give, or the sweets that she hands to them on some days. To these people, the mother today represents all that is earthly of the concept of the guardian angel for spiritual exaltation. A cross-section of this community will reveal bright and happy children, students and scholars, professors, managers, and organizing secretaries, people who are not cut off nor distant from life, but receive letters every day from all over the world, men and women of a mental caliber above the average, writers, thinkers, scientists, engineers, experts, technicians, artisans, advisors. And besides these men, there are thousands the world over who make the ever-increasing circle of Sri Aurobindo. Even artists. The efflorescence of a community, as well as its ideology, depend greatly on the very nature of the tending of the soil from which the two stem. Like this plowman who tends the fields of the ashram for the fruits of the good earth, so did the master plowman prepare the ground 4 decades ago and hallowed it with a spiritual blessing. And this spirit everlasting of the master guides the movements, growth, and destiny of the Ashramites in their journey to a wider realm of promise. In the words of the mother, the culture of the children should begin long before it sees the light of day. And in the nursery of ashram life, the little ones are as busy and happy as their elders in their own way. As with the tender seedlings, so with tender children, the time comes for transplantation. More care of their growth means more care of their health and their mind. And the physical aspect is dealt with so completely, even to the extent of preventive dentistry. But when it comes to the problem of molding the little ones, the mother herself takes charge of this. It is all there, the dominating yet affectionate interest and the reciprocal eagerness of the children to learn and please their sweet mother. Recitation, or listening to story, or dictation, any one of these can be the program for an evening, and the rest of the day is in kindergarten. These children have done their lesson and wait for the mother to see their work. But not this lad. He did not take down the dictation. His mind is on the playfields. Out of tune perhaps with the term ashram may sound the term sport. But as with the children of the ashram, so with all the age groups, great interest in training in all types of games and physical exercises and gymnastics are a part of the training which the ashramites have the choice to take. Based on the principle that physical perfection is an essential step to yogic training is the argument in favor of sport. Therefore, the health and growth of these children is as important to them as the training of their minds. The whole panorama of the playfield presents all age groups at their favorite exercises, the best that the East or West can offer. And the whole cyclorama of the sports world is dominated and inspired by the mother who to this day herself regularly plays tennis. Tennis is only one of the many games. Basketball is popular too, with all the age groups. Football, there goes the toss, and the game begins. On some other day, see volleyball being played, or watch the Ashram 11 wielding the willow. We have been a long time in the playfield. It is time to get back to the classes. A decade ago, in 1943 to be exact, the Ashram School was established for the education of the children of Sri Aurobindo's disciples. At its opening, the school counted 32 pupils. The end of the first year saw 76. Today, there are more than 200, not counting a large number who attend the adult language classes held outside of school hours, the Sunday classes and evening classes on weekdays. The school is co-educational throughout. The children come from all parts of India, together with a few from abroad. The level of studies in the Indian languages corresponds to those required by the Indian universities for their school leaving certificate or the matriculation, as well as the intermediate course. French is one of the principal languages taught at the school, and the French studies, which include subjects of science and of language, follow the program of the French higher school. higher as distinct from high, to the level of the baccalaureate. The program of the English classes is graded in accordance with the syllabus of the English junior and of the secondary or grammar school. Students can study up to the standard required by the General Certificate of Education for English Language, ordinary level, and English literature, advanced level. Turning to the German classes, from the text in the hands of these students, it is obvious that the standard of instruction in this language is as good as that of English or of French. To those who have a bent for science studies, there are the classes in mathematics, one of the fundamental subjects of the curriculum of studies. In their science education, the students have the benefit of training under a highly qualified professor whose background enables him to train them in all those branches of science which are essential for students desirous of entering the portals of a university. Side by side with the classes in theory, a significant place is assigned to practical laboratory work in physics and chemistry. The seriousness of purpose and a close and trustful student-teacher relationship make it possible for the pupils to undertake more detailed and effective experimental work than is generally done. The intense interest evinced by the students in their work is probably owed to the freedom they have in the choice of their studies and to the spirit in which they take their work, not as an essential duty, but as a path that they have chosen to take for the betterment of their knowledge. A path that is promising, for today this school, with its teachers and students of science, art and music, is now a part of the now established University Center of the Ashram. A center that aims at integral education which these students and teachers will pursue in the tomorrow, and in consonance with the ideals of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. As with the scientific and literary training of the students in the classroom, so too in the physical training section. Regular physical exercises are prominent features of physical education at the ashram. Like the crops in the fields that presage a good harvest in return for the year's toil, so also are the trainees enriched with the experience of their year's work. Here are examples of their achievements which in harmony and unison of movement simulate the rhythmic motion of sea waves. Watch this one, it depicts the emblem of Sri Aurobindo. And look at this movement, which is a dynamic depiction of the emblem of the mother. It is not only in the fabric of their physical exercises that the Ashramites can excel. In the finer arts, there have been the traditional pride of India in embroidery, for instance. There are those whose work compares favorably with the work that comes from Benares or Bangalore in resplendent threads of silk, silver, and gold. Here you can see deft fingers at work and the designs that are born of such skillful and patient work. In the embroidery of life at the ashram, there is a design too, in which the three essentials to a harmonious life are not forgotten. Those three that are common to everyone: food, clothing, and shelter. The little folks of the ashram must have their milk, and others can have it too if they want to. Good milk means the maintenance of a cattle farm. The cattle well to the ashram is an assurance of milk for health, and it eliminates the danger of adulterated or impure milk reaching the ashramites. A poultry farm is run on modern lines. Artificial incubation. It causes worry to these parents, perhaps. But the eggs have been hatched and the chickens are all right. To the granaries comes the rice from the field, and wheat for turned into flour. A whole machinery of men and mechanical methods turn the incoming pulses and grain into flour and food material ready for the kitchen. The ashram bakery is another center of bustle and activity. And modern machinery plays its role here too. No time is wasted, not even in the slices that are cut from the loaves. Strict vegetarianism is observed at the ashram, and kitchens are maintained under such hygienic propriety that is more than praiseworthy. As for the vegetables, they come too from the gardens that are tended by the Ashramites. The food is served in cafeteria style. You take what you want, rice or bread. And then you sit down to a good lunch. Not very spicy, nor oily food, and touched off with fruits and a cup of milk or curd. And the meal is followed by the process of returning the vessel to the washing and cleaning section. Here, the Ashramites themselves attend to the work of the cleaning of the vessels. The orderly and careful manner in which this work is carried is perhaps a unique feature of Sri Aurobindo Ashram, and certainly not commonly noticed elsewhere in our country. For those who do not come to the dining hall, an efficient system of carriers full of food makes it possible for the food to reach their homes. And now to clothes. Even the strong can get enough work for their muscles at the ashram laundry. And when the clothes are rinsed, washed, and dried, their ironing is done by other inmates. This laundry service is another of the organization's activity towards a self-reliant life. But where are the clothes from? They are made at the ashram's tailoring section. At every step, the words seem to be so true, that here is a small world of workers who can take up any craft and bring it to a useful stage for the betterment of their fellow beings. And when you think of the cloth that comes to the tailoring house, the answer is there again. The weaving centers of the ashram turn out cotton cloth, not only embroidery, but cloth for daily needs and apparel is made at the ashram. Want can be forgiven, but not waste. Here's an idea. Take the good threads out of old cloth and make new cloth that can serve for domestic and general use. From cotton yarn, are knit the socks, for which there is constant and great demand at the ashram, particularly from the sports groups. Now, these socks and other cotton textures and weaves are all made at the Ashram Cottage Industries Center, where several crafts make many hands earn their wages. Mats are turned out of reeds. Hats from the same house can be had for those who work all day long in the ashram fields under the tropical sun. Or they are wanted by those who take a walk along the beach. Mats and hats are not the only reed products. Wicker baskets also are woven at this center. In fine, many useful things the ashramites need for daily use are all made at the center. And some of the products of the Cottage Industries Center are taken away by tourists as souvenirs. Rope twist comes from jute or hemp. And doormats too. Scented sticks for incense burners are prepared here, and the whole process, from perfume paste to the ignited stick, can be seen at the center itself. It is noteworthy that all the work done here is not with a profit-seeking motive. It is to produce things while one learns or teaches. And the products of the cottage industries section are doubly valuable when it is revealed that the children of the wage-earning workmen of the ashram are taught the crafts here and given lessons and training. The ideology, again, is not absent. Sweets are made and toffee prepared, which first goes to the mother, who in her turn gives them away on occasions and on certain days to all those members of the ashram who come for blessings. Now, glucose is used to make these sweets and toffees, and they taste good. And they taste good, says the man to this child. But it seems to say, ah no, I will not take one unless it comes from the mother. And now we come to that craftsman of the ages who turns out many vessels of many shapes from mere clay. Umar Khayyam might have said, who the potter and who the pot. But this ashram potter need not worry about this, because great souls in the ashram are unraveling the knot of human fate and of the divine life. Waste not and want not. The observance of this motto is again evident as one looks upon the paper trimmings that come to the handmade factory. And from out of them, paperboard is made. From lime comes the material for keeping the houses clean and for color washing them in white, blue-gray or red, according to whether the house is ashram owned or, as the case may be, rented by the ashram authority. To skeptics who want to find some one thing hollow in the ashram, they can be happy looking at the hollow bricks made at the ashram-owned factory. Many constructions nowadays are of hollow bricks. Engineers and draftsmen The path at the ashram can well be defined as polyhedral, with its many levels and its many purposes, its many aspects, many interpenetrating and interrelated qualities and characteristics, its very dazzling diversity in seeming contradiction, with its oneness of aim to achieve the blend of life with the supramental. The contrast may at first sight be disconcerting, but closer study might reveal that all the phases of practical life are dealt with positively and without any rejection of the possibility of their value in civilization. For over 4 decades, the aggrandizement of the centers of activity, physical, scientific, and mystic, have been the product of the master's creation and the constructive directives of the mother. The class and the play field are only the 2 preliminary planes, perhaps. A carefree life devoted to concentrated creative work and the achievement of a healthy outlook are the prime factors of wealth here. And as for any other wealth that comes, it is turned into investment for creative work, for materials, to keep the body engaged in that devotion which is the corollary to Sri Aurobindo's conception that this life is only a field of yoga. So, these workmen and the works they have created are their roads to achievement of one aim in the end, the better life, or perhaps the greater. In the words of Sri Aurobindo, the supramental. The extent to which the press of the Sri Aurobindo Ashram has been an exponent of his many writings is known today all over the world. What the Master wrote has been published in the languages of our world, languages of the East and of the West. That the ashram should have taken over the task of executing the printing of the Master's works is another proof of the meticulous care and devotion and the confidence in the technological skill of the ashramites. Perhaps, in its way, the printing press has contributed immensely to the widespread influence, the magic influence of the Master's name. And here we see that from his voluminous writing, books emerge all day long from the press to reach the minds of those interested in the higher achievements of our life. To the literate, perhaps, this is the center that conveys most how much time the Master devoted to his writing as a poet, philosopher, seer, and mystic. All the publications of the Master and those of the Mother have been rendered into many languages. And to this there can be no end. In the works like the Life Divine, immortality is assured. Besides the press, a newer method of record is also encouraged at the photo section, a branch of activity in keeping with the requirements of an international center of education and culture. Artistic works are within reach of the ashram photographers. And the fact ever remains that but for the ashram photographers, this survey of ashram activities in moving pictures might never have reached your eyes. The day's work can be touched off with peaceful study in excellent libraries. Housed here are all the works of the master, and the literary and philosophical writings of the mother. There are innumerable other classical works also in several languages. And every day the libraries are getting richer with further additions. Popular and good magazines come from many countries. All make these libraries rich storehouses of knowledge. First aid and first-class medical attention are available for the ashramites, and they can choose any three of the medical treatments in practice. The allopathic, the Indian or Ayurvedic, the homeopathic, or, for that matter, the massage clinic, where one can go for a cure, for a healthy massage, for the betterment of the body, or for a happy feeling. An extensive program of physical education for the students of the Sri Aurobindo International University is underway and progressing. But the training of many ashramites has almost reached top level. Gymnastics and the spectacular are seen at the ashram, a result of effort and zeal. Careful study of the progress made will reveal that the mother takes special interest in the progress of the physical development of the ashramites. And here are some words of the master. In the admission of an activity such as sports and physical exercises into the life of the ashram, it is evident that the method and the first objects to be attained must belong to what we call the lower end of the being. Yet within human boundaries can be something very considerable and sometimes immense. And here is an instance of the devotion of the ashramites to the mother on her birthday. The program includes items that exhibit artistic and histrionic talent. Or it may be the school anniversary day when the students stage a play. It could be any play, from a tableau of the divine dancer Shiva to a chapter from the story of Sweet Cinderella. It's Christmas time, and the children must have their day. The tree and mother will come. And a Merry Christmas is in store for the barn. For, to the children of the ashram, the mother is Santa Claus. She will give every one of them blessings, presents, and sweets. In the recent decades, one activity after another has been launched in the field of physical culture by the mother who has inaugurated the centers of training. All forms of the art of self-defense, like boxing, wrestling, fencing, lap chase, are all open to those who wish to take advantage of such training, irrespective of the sex of the ashram. The training is identical to either boy or girl. The discipline of duty will take us through the austerity of physical life. Such are some of the words of the mother. She has said, too, that the basic program will be to build a body beautiful in form, harmonious in posture, and agile in its movements, powerful in its activities, and resistant in its health and organic functions. Well-known men visit the ashram to give demonstrations to the inmates. The inmates display, too, an enviable command of the body, as this one, for example. He is certainly at home in physical training of the yogic style. Here you see, for example, that physical training is co-educational. And this is an amusing fight. Not this one by any means. He is the physical training instructor, and I wouldn't take a punch from him. What about a swimming pool, you might ask? By the playfield is the blue sea. Here you see the big ones and the little ones all trying to do their best at riding the surf. Like the golden crop that the ashram fields yield at harvest time, so do the ashramites display the result of their training across the year. In the organized teamwork and rhythm, in the marching, in the unity seen in the march past, is an example of acquisition that comes of ardent training. Here perhaps are the foundations of future cooperation and teamwork. Agility and speed are both seen in the hurdles. Endurance in the long distance. Speed and agility in the sprints. Team spirit in the relay. Hop, step and jump. There is strength in this tug. Not that there is no strength in this one. And heights are reached in high jump, and altitudes in pole vault. It is blossom time. The flowers are in bloom. There are flower gatherings for offerings. And like flowers, the Ashramites are happy too. It is the season when on a day the mother gives away saris as presents. Here are crowds waiting for darshan, for it is darshan day, one of the 4 in every year. Soon the Ashramites will pay homage to the mother. They will proceed to the Samadhi to salute at the Master's shrine. And then they go to where the master lived. Not only the Ashramites, but visitors from everywhere. And 24th of April was also chosen for the declaration of the inauguration of the Sri Aurobindo International University Center. Eminent personalities were informed of this, and that erstwhile eminent leader of Bengal, Shyama Prasad Mukherjee, presided over the function. The mother addressed all those present.
The Aurobindo is present in our midst, and with all the power of his creative genius, he presides over the formation of this university center, which figures he considered as one of the best means of preparing the future humanity to receive the supramental life that will transform the elite of today into a new race, manifesting upon earth the new light and force and light. In his name, I open today this convention meeting here with the purpose of realizing one of his most cherished ideas.
1 year after the convention, the mother declared open the International Center, thereby laying the foundations, as it were, today, of the International Cultural Center of tomorrow. No one who visits the ashram can ever forget the flowers that blossom here. They come into their own, these flowers, at the ashram, for they are the mother's ministers of beauty and truth. Yes, truth as well as beauty, for the mother attributes symbolic meaning to each flower. Ask a sadhaka the significance of a flower which the mother gives him at blessings, and he is likely to say, remember that mother gives not simply the flower, but the state of consciousness for which it stands, if you are open to receive it. The sadhakas of the ashram testify that again and again they step by the flower room on their way to samadhi and are given the exact combination of flowers that conveys to them a striking message which meets their current spiritual problem. Like these flowers are the sons and daughters of the ashram, blossoming into many forms of life and activity under the sunshine of the mother's grace and nourished by her light and force. The seeds of the ashram flowers have been gathered from many parts of India and the world. With skill and devotion, they have been adapted to the soil and the climate until they blossom forth, as you see, with rare beauty. Just so, the divine gardener has been attracting to this propitious spot men, women, and children from all over India and many parts of the world, a colony of heaven, flowering into the new race of the sons and daughters of the divine.